Welcome to the Berea podcast. This is Troy with hopefully a helpful episode for you this week. Dell is unavailable tonight for recording, so it is me alone telling you about tips and tricks we just discovered planning for some summer travel away from Berea. So these are real tips that we just discovered as we made our reservations for our 25th wedding anniversary trip and wanted to share these nuggets with you. So we're going to go through some things about airfare, lodging, and then just some other miscellaneous tidbits that we discovered. But hopefully, as you plan your next trip away from Berea, this will help you out, especially in the bank. So here we go. Here are some benefits of being located in Berea. We are relatively close to 3 airports that you can fly out of. The closest, of course, is Lexington. And if you're traveling for work, it's pretty much a toss-up whether flying out of Lexington as compared to Louisville or Cincinnati is cheaper. Cincinnati and Louisville's parking is more expensive per day. And also, of course, there's the mileage that you would incur. Lexington airfare is generally, what we've found, a little bit more expensive. But when you factor in the mileage and the extra parking, it's usually a wash. So if you're traveling for work, think Lexington first. If you don't have to pay yourself for mileage, consider Louisville or Lexington. Louisville is serviced by Southwest Airlines, which is a cheaper airline than the other major airlines. But inversely, Cincinnati has a special relationship with Delta Airlines. So it kind of depends on where you're going or what you're looking for. But Cincinnati is for Delta. Also out of Cincinnati, there is Frontier Airlines. So if you are going to sites served by Southwest, say that 10 times real fast, it may be best to go to the Louisville airport. If it's a place with the major carriers or someplace serviced by Frontier, Cincinnati's the way to go. Now, to see airfare for Southwest and Allegiant and, other regional carriers, you have to go to their website and compare and contrast with other websites like Expedia, or Priceline. Here's one other little tip about Southwest. Nashville, which is a long drive from Berea, sometimes offers deep discounts on Southwest to go to the Southwest of the United States. So if you're going to like Las Vegas, or someplace around there except for the coast, always check to see if driving to Nashville could save you $200. And then you have an opportunity to consider if that is worth it to you. So there's airfare tips. All right. We just spent at least a day and a half talking to our credit card companies about how to get the best deal from our credit cards that we use. And that is our first tip in general. When you're planning a trip, call your credit card companies, not to notify them about your upcoming travel so that it won't be carded for fraud, but ask them about the hidden benefits of their cards. For instance, if you use a certain credit card, it might give you insurance if you rent a car, or those types of things that are just built into your card. We discovered that if we used our points on our credit card to purchase the airfare, we were actually being penalized against transferring our credit card points for air miles and then using those in-system air miles to book the flight. Sometimes airline companies offer bonuses for you to transfer your credit card miles into their point system. So for instance, if you transfer 1,000 points, you might get 1,200, for instance. So that's something to really check for as you plan maybe long-term for a trip. So those are some credit card tips for you. The last tip, of course, is pay off that credit card during the next month when you get that bill so that you don't incur the extra interest, which would make all of these savings moot. Let's talk about lodging just for a second. I've got 2 tips. One is something that I swear by, that I actually go to first, and it's simply redweek, redweek.com. Timeshares are usually the rage when you go to popular places and people try to get you to go to their, show of the properties. And people buy into the timeshares. Sometimes they get their timeshare week booked and ready to go, and they have to back out. So once it's scheduled for them, they can't change their reservation, and they have to somehow recoup their money. And that's what they do with redweek.com. They post their weeks that are going to die anyway for incredible discounts for people who are flexible with their travel locations or place close to last minute. Now, there are weeks booked well out, a year in advance for people that they know that they're not going to be able to make travel. But those folks that are either about to lose all of their maintenance fee on their timeshare or get any amount of money, usually will take any amount of money. So that is what I look for, redweek.com. There is a membership fee to actually book something. I'll let you know that's just less than $20. And if you're saving $400 over a week, that's a net gain. A second place that I look is Groupon.com, and you can search for other locations and then search for lodging in those locations. And there are lots of benefits of doing that search for specifically where you're going. Now, if you travel during holiday times or, peak travel times, Groupon isn't as valuable, but you can really travel for up to 80% savings using Groupon.com. So that's worth checking out. There's also some other just general last minute tips for you. Search for last minute cruises. There are several different sites for that. And you can look for last minute that fits your time frame if your location's flexible. Or inversely, if your location is what you want, you can search and then find the last minute opportunities for that destination. So there you go. Some tips on last minute travel or some plans to use your credit card or the airlines that we have accessible to us here in lovely Berea. But really, why would you want to leave Berea? But hope these tips were helpful if you choose to. Do you have some tips that we didn't cover that you'd like to share and us to pass on? Send me an email over at troy@thebereapodcast.com. Shoot me that email and I'll share it over on our Facebook page. So go over to Facebook also and search for The Berea Podcast. One other just show note for you. Our episodes are going to be a little bit spotty over the summer with these great deals that we found on travel and also other, work activities. We may not have a show up every Tuesday as promised in the past, but that is over the summer of 2018. Do again, shoot me an email at troy@thebereapodcast.com with any of your travel tips. Talk to you soon. Today is why I stay.